Cardi B's quote has truly changed my life. I don't dance now, I make money moves. In this episode, you're going to hear how money moves, how you can grab onto it, and hang on. So we asked in the last episode, are we telling you to rob Peter to pay Paul? Let's answer that question. What did you mean
I feel like
when you alluded to this?
I'm being interviewed here.
Because this can get crazy.
It can.
We can get haters out of the woodworks for this one.
Haters be my motivators, you know? Here's the truth. Money grows on trees.
Oh, I've heard a book.
Yes,
That
solid
before.
book.
Solid
one of
recommendation.
one.
Buy it online.
And Amazon.com. Money is available. And so when we sit there, of course, you can do anything devious, right? With a brick. You can break a window or you can build a church. It's a tool. Same thing with money.
Very godly reference.
Amen. So with this money, when I mentioned find a way, right? You have to understand if you go into every formula, every equation, every confrontation, every challenge, every business obstacle, money is going to be the easiest of those problems to solve. You have to have that mindset. The question that Grant Cardone taught me to ask is, where is my money?
Where's my money?
So it's somewhere around. Meaning, how creative can you get? It's going to require you, my favorite book title, to think and grow rich. Like you're going to have to sit down and come up with obstacles. Because in the last episode, you mentioned, I've got this phone call and I can't pay payroll, but somehow you pulled it off.
Every time.
Right. And it requires you getting creative. You normally go for a walk, you probably work out, you probably call some people, but you definitely think and you're thinking and you're thinking and you're asking the right question. Because if you could just go, oh, I'm done, it's over. It's over. Instead of going, how can I, right? I can't pay this, I'm broke. Or how can I pay this? I know I'm broke, where's my money? A whole different question. And with different questions come different answers. And that's where the real use of credits and debits come in. I mean, the term home equity line of credit.
Oh, man, you're stealing my advice.
I know I'm stealing your advice.
Getting there.
Right. And you actually gave this advice and I'm going to almost nail this date. This was April of 2022. And we were talking about there's a recession coming. And you said, if you do not have a home equity line of credit, get one now, please. Because interest rates are very low and they're going to go up. Get an equity line of credit on your houses now. Don't use them, just have them.
Have it ready.
It was like, okay, what does she really mean by that? And so I went out and got a bunch of lines of credit. I got a BLOC, business line of credit.
Good.
I got a bunch of new credit cards and I got a bunch of house lines of credit. So it was sitting there available to be used. Now, for the listeners, we've talked about home equity lines of credit 100 times in this podcast. But if you're a brand new listener, if your house is worth $600,000 and you owe $300,000, there's a $300,000 gap in those two numbers.
It's called equity.
It's called equity. And you can use a portion, probably not 100%, but maybe 70, 60, or 80, depending on your job. You can definitely snag some of that $300,000 of equity to do something. So to that point, am I robbing Peter to pay Paul? No, I'm borrowing it from the bank.
There you go.
And the truth is, I will borrow from banks. I will borrow from my houses.
And you're really borrowing from your future own money.
Correct.
In this situation.
Correct. And that's usually what I'm going to be doing, right? Have I asked and reached out to investors in certain deals and raised more capital for particular situations? Yes.
You should do it only if there's enough equity to protect them. We are disclaiming this away.
That's a great disclaimer.
Never over leveraging an asset.
Yep. No, it's a great point. And so when you're doing that, you're truly literally telling them, hey, this is the benefit. This is obviously the risk. This is why I'm doing this. Are you in? And you have to open it up. You have to have these conversations with these investors. And ultimately, to your point, do not over leverage. And over leverage looks like, to go back to this house example for a quick second, you have $600,000 total value of the house, but you pay a buddy who you know who's a bank appraiser. And you go, yo, bro, do this favor for me. And they appraise it at $800,000, but you know it's worth $600,000. And you still go and borrow that money. And you take the borrowed money and then go to Vegas and play roulette and lose it.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Don't do that. This is terrible, terrible decisions.
Even if you're really good at roulette?
Yeah, and I am. Don't do that. Because ultimately, the truth is, in this situation, you have to know and have a plan for your money, but specifically, you have to think ahead of time. You got to plan for these things, because if you have a business, investors will ask you for early payouts. They will come into situations where they need to get bought out of a situation or a deal early. You will have cash flow crunches in every single business. You will have seasonality shifts and trends that alternate in your business where you're not as rich as you might be. So in other words, you're not borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, but you are borrowing from banks to pay investors. And that's perfectly okay, because a bank just needs their interest back. And if you can cover the interest payment and it's not a stress, it's not a problem, I simply think about it like, if I can do this for this short period of time and this equity, this debt, or this credit gives me more impact, more income, or more opportunities, then it's an easy decision for me. What about you, Britnie?
I think that's great. And we're going to go into a couple of the realizations that I've had in navigating, again, highs, lows, lots of different startups in my life, and taking big leaps of faith, like buying an island right before COVID and hurricanes.
It's the best time, man.
Oh yeah, it's fun.
You nailed that timing.
So my biggest thing when I'm coaching people is to help them start with their long-term vision for their life, and then turning that into a 5-year plan. Where do I want to be in my relationships? Where do I want to be in my lifestyle, my health, my wealth, all those things, and then go from 5 years to 1 year to 90 days to today, and really looking at let's just plan at least 5 years out. Where am I financially right now? Actually make them go through all of their current expenses. And then I pull something I kind of learned from the 4-Hour Work Week, which is it's called dreamlining, where you look at where you want to be in 5 years and you say, if I want to own that car, how much would that really cost me? How much will that house really cost me? How much will the giving at that level, how do I get to being able to give at that level? What will those date nights and those family vacations, you really actually financially map out where you're going to be in 5 years in all those categories. And then you look at, where am I today? At my current expenses, where am I going to be in 5 years? And then what do I have available to go from here to here? Because what's crazy is when I'm coaching people, I will map out even debt consolidation plans. They don't realize, again, they've got all this equity in their home, and they could borrow it between 3 and 5% in the last couple of years, at least. It's going to be a little higher now. And they could pay off these 25% interest credit cards. And go from making, I helped somebody who is, I think it was like $7,000 a month towards their debt, paid it off by consolidating with a home equity line of credit. And they got it, the same debt was now costing them $2,000 a month. So they got to keep that $5,000, put it in their investing bucket. Their investing bucket ended up helping them pay off the debt 5 times faster. And we mapped it out, because weirdly, I did this at 18. I helped people get out of debt. I worked for this United First Financial group that helped people map out and debt consolidate and go from what would take 30 years or never paying off all this debt and get it down to 2 years by strategically cash planning your life and doing these kinds of tips that we're sharing with you. So you can do everything from plan on actually acquiring this dream life to getting out of debt, to running your business. If you start using these strategies, and that cash sheet that I shared in the last episode really has been, it's not a perfect sheet. It's not something that I would ever say like, this is a financial report. It's never like that. It's literally just a Google sheet to start trying to make better decisions as the leader of the organization. Again, what do I need to sell? What investor am I paying 20% to that I need to get rid of? If I can't make more than 20%, I need to pay that investor off. And try to find something better to do. Who's costing me too much? What is costing me too much? I might think I've got $2 million of equity in this property, but it's costing me $43,000 a month to hold. How long is it going to take? How many years can I hold it before there's no equity? Because I've been carrying that beast. And so take that lower ball offer by just looking at this stuff globally. Again, you can't You can't really grow and do well with things that you don't have a grip on.
Yeah.
And you could call it controlling. I call it excellence. I like to know what the heck is going on so that I can steward what God has given me and what investors have given me really well. And I can navigate these storms. I have never fired someone for cash shortages ever in my life. I've never been like, the market's going bad, I need to lay people off. Never done it, even with COVID. And I'm very, very proud of that. And I think that's a level of stability I can give my employees that other employers can't give, because there's other places that like fire people by the hundreds every time there's a market dip or the summer comes around or whatever the situation is. And so I've really honored the people who have chosen in their one chance on earth to work for this vision that God's given me that's coming true through a company or a nonprofit. I've literally mortgaged my house 3 different times to make payroll in my career. I've taken all the equity out of my house to make payroll because I really do honor my team. But I was able to even make that decision because I had a global vision of what the heck's going on with my money to the best guess. And we can make decisions, even like I said, accepting lower ball offers if you need to be able to survive, because surviving is important. Buying yourself a runway of time to be able to get new projects or assets or businesses off the ground is super important. And I feel like I'm a good person to share this because I've always bootstrapped it. I started with nothing. I didn't have daddy's money. I didn't have some big investor influx into my business. It's always been very scrappy, but we've always survived. I've paid everybody what they're owed every single time, maybe a little late, but we have survived it. And I am somebody trustworthy to invest with. And I'm super proud of that. I've never lost an investor's money. So even though I've lost it all several times, I've never lost an investor's money. So these are really important things. This is important to be able to build those reputations because, again, I really appreciate that my parents didn't give me a bunch of handouts.
Yeah.
And that
you're talking about the day of abundance. What a gift that was.
What a gift it was. My parents never paid for a lot of stuff for me. Obviously, they took care of me as a kid, but I have the internal knowledge and strength to know I can always figure it out. Britnie, you are smart enough. It might suck for a little while here, but you are smart enough. And that we've talked about in previous episodes, when you're really desperate, this amazing thing happens to your brain. It's survival creativity opens up and it connects to heaven and it starts getting new ideas to find a way because that pressure makes you focus.
But only when it's a necessity. You bring this up all the time where you will, in an abundance summit or all the time. If you had to pay an extra $50,000 a month, what you going to do? And everyone's like, I can't. I don't know. Oh, gosh. Oh, I can't pay for that for coaching. I can't pay for that for a car. I can't pay for that for an investment. Okay, cool. Now your kid needs it to live. And everyone does what? Immediately. Oh, I'll figure it out.
How do you do it within values, not just rob a bank? How would you figure it out? And it's amazing.
Yeah. Because it becomes a necessity.
And they start actually immediately finding a way.
Yeah.
And they all agree to be unable to do it.
Yeah.
It is not, that's why everything that I ever coach, I don't just coach real estate. I could probably be making freaking tens of millions of dollars if I was just trying to be a real estate investing coach. But the biggest thing I coach people on is identifying your purpose and weaving it into how you would build your business. So it's on the foundation of purpose and how you build your investing strategy because money is fake. And if you don't believe me, if you've ever gone to another country and you look at like the dollars from the Bahamas, you realize in that moment how fake money is because it doesn't mean anything to you.
Right.
You've taken away the meaning. So know now money is fake. And so if you're only working for money, you spend all your good years working for money, you're going to feel really empty inside.
Yeah.
Money is an expansion tool of your purpose if you can actually identify your purpose. Having that clarity of why is going to allow you to overcome all of the hardship that's going to be coming from the fact that you're new. You're new. You've never done this before. So guess what? You're going to suck at it. Just like my kid looked like an idiot trying to walk. Of course, he was freaking adorable. He didn't really look like an idiot. But you're going to look like an idiot. You're going to fall down. You're going to hurt yourself because you don't know what you're doing until you do.
Yeah.
Until you do. So have some grace. Have a plan. Have a why.
Yeah.
And if your why is big enough, you'll make that extra $50,000 a month.
Yes.
You'll make that extra $100,000 a month.
Yeah.
And that's why I take people on mission trips
Correct.
to clarify the fact that even if you don't know that there is a why that needs you to be able to create an abundance of wealth, come freaking see the need firsthand, standing by me, and wake up to the fact that you are so fiercely blessed. You can become a creator of opportunity. You can be a person of abundance, and you can find a way to break through on behalf of others to help eliminate suffering. That's all I got.
But it's 100% spot on. Find the need, place the need. I say this all of the time. The number one, here you go, every listener. How do I make more money? Donate more.
Ooh.
Counterintuitive, right?
Great answer.
Donate more.
Is it though?
But how? That's less money. Oh, well, you think money you have to make, right? What if you create it? What if you magnetize it? What if you earn it? What if you provide it? What if you love it? What if you cherish it? You don't have to make money. What if you create currency? A whole different energy with that sentence now. But ultimately, if you give it, I think there's a scripture somewhere. The more you give, the more you are given. The more you give, the more you're given, or the more you give, the more you receive. And ultimately,
you reap what you sow.
What's that?
You will reap what you sow.
Yeah. So start sowing some things, right? If you want some more money, give more money away. Start stepping into faith. Believe it for a hot second that what's written down will actually come true.
I think the science behind what you're saying too is you're actually energetically putting it out there to tell the universe, which is something God created, and like you're literally telling the entire planet beyond planets, the cosmos, that this is not my last dollar.
Yes.
This is not my last dollar. I will create more. I have so much that I can give it away.
I got so much.
And that energy is something that money loves to find because money likes to move.
Come on.
It doesn't like to get stuck and stagnant and hoarded.
Kind of like a current.
It's a currency.
Hello. Let's
Shout
go. Hey. Whoa.
Shall we talk more about currency in the next episode?
Yes, we should.
See you there.
Here's what you must do right now. Go to any browser, type in arielbvi.com. And as soon as you do that, you will see a little tab that says book a room. Do that. When you step foot on this 45-acre island, you bask in one of the most amazing and stunning rooms you've ever been in, your soul's going to shift. You're going to download new ideas you've never had before. You're going to experience things you've always dreamed of, and your entire life will change. Book a room today for you, for your spouse, for your family. Change your life. arielbvi.com.